Hello, welcome to my messy workshop. Hello, welcome. I'm Doug, and I am struggling. Let me tell you a little story. I am going through absolute hell right now. Got a little medical condition. I don't even know, I guess it is. I've been getting these stupid headaches that are called cluster headaches. I'll kind of explain it. I'm sure most of you have never even heard of it. So I'm gonna do a little video about it. Maybe, hopefully, I don't know, find some other people that are going through the same BS that I am. And thankfully, I was able to find like a support group type thing on Facebook once I found out what exactly that they were called. I think about 8 or 10 years ago, I took some Loratabs or Percocets or some shit. It hurt so bad that I actually tried to take some pain pills. And no joke, the pain pills doubled my pain level, and it hurt so bad that I ended up driving myself to the emergency room and fainted basically in the parking lot. I didn't basically faint, I did faint. I woke up underneath my truck. Nobody saw it. I was there I woke up under my truck, I don't know how many hours later. And I had shrubs and stupid pieces of wood from somebody's fence and all kinds of shit in the grill of my truck because I drove in blinding pain. And so because of that, I won't even take a pain pill. I'm scared to death to even take a pain pill. You know, like those Percocets, Loratabs, or I can't think of some of the other ones. It escapes me. I'm spent. I'm so spent. So I get them in my sleep, among other times. So I don't sleep very much. And I'm kind of a zombie right now because of that. So these support groups, well, that time I went to the ER was the time the doctor told me I was having cluster headaches, and I never knew what they were. I recall Googling it. Or no, that time I didn't even go in. That's right. The time I fainted under my truck in the parking lot, when I came to, my headache was gone. So I didn't go in that time. It was a different time. Then the doctor, this really young doctor at the ER, said, "You're having cluster headaches." And I never heard of it. And I recall Googling it on a flip phone, burning up data. Like, it was a track phone, I think. That's how far back it was. And I'm reading all this shit. I'm like, oh my God, all of this is exactly what I'm having. So they come like clockwork, very regular time-wise. You'll start getting them at the same exact time. A lot of people, and I kind of think there's some truth to it, say that it's sleep pattern related. Something to do with your biological clock and sleep patterns, and I do think that's very possible. Because I get them in my sleep. And at the same time, if I'm suffering with a really nasty one, my only savior is falling asleep or passing out. Because nothing stops them. There's no pain medicine. There's nothing that'll do what's called abort an attack. Some of the support groups, well, all the people, swear that magic mushrooms will abort an attack. So I've tried everything as far as I've quit smoking for 5 years. I didn't drink. I worked out, took care of myself, was in incredibly good shape. You know, I was at like 175, benching 310. I was an animal. Took pretty decent care of myself health-wise. Still getting the cocksuckers constantly. So it wasn't that, it wasn't the cigarettes or partying, living hard, shitty diet. Nothing I did. So another thing people swear by that I'm kind of afraid to try are energy drinks. I do not even like energy drinks to begin with. They taste like shit. I never liked them. I never ever use energy drinks. But some people say it helps them. I don't have the balls to try it. It hurts too bad. I can't explain the level of pain that I'm dealing with. Google it. If you ever get bored, Google cluster headache. It's some good reading. According to the WebMD, Google headache is the worst pain known to medical science. Yay, lucky me. It's worse than an amputation. They list it as, 6 times worse than childbirth, or 12 times worse than your worst migraine, amputations, all of it. It's the worst pain, they say. So it's kind of where you start losing your mind. From what I understand, cluster sufferers all have PTSD because, and only second to POW victims that have been tortured are the only people that have worse PSD. No domestic violence, no traumatized childhood is worse PTSD-wise, because the pain is so out of control, and you're going to be getting these things. There's nothing you can do to stop them. The pain, I would rather somebody take a blowtorch to my nutsack, because he's either going to run out of gas or get tired of holding it. The pain's going to go away someday, eventually. It never goes away with the goddamn cluster headache. The pain is pretty equivalent to a blowtorch. I've blowtorched myself on accident a bunch of times, and it's pretty bad. The headaches are worse. I burned myself a lot. Burns suck. Anybody who's burned themselves knows how bad burns are. And it's a lot of, I don't want to say it's a similar pain, but it's up there with that kind of feeling where it's a lot like somebody's holding a blowtorch against your skin. Not good. So I'm going to hashtag a little thing about cluster headache, and with any luck, maybe somehow reach out to some poor schlub who's dealing with these, so people in the support groups drop like flies. They call it the suicide headache. Medically speaking, that's what the medical world calls it. It's not just a nickname. And I get it. I totally do understand it. I would never do that. I'm not the type of person to want to off myself. I have no family, nobody even miss me at all. But long story short, I have never been to that level. And at the same time, I get a break. So mine tend to come with weather swings. Big weather changes, I'll start getting them. Other people are getting them nonstop. Some people get them, they just never stop. So when I start having a cycle, I've been lucky. I went a whole year, maybe longer, year and a half, almost 2 years without getting them. Some years it's a real minor, it's not that bad. Other years I just get nailed. And they'll get worse and worse, pain-wise. And I'll get more and more of them, start getting a couple a day. I don't know why this knife won't go back in. Can't figure out the locking mechanism. Yeah, I have broke both of my hands punching myself in the head because it hurts so bad. I've headbutted vehicles. I've headbutted a steel door right off the hinges. I've wanted to basically smack myself in the head with a hammer. I had, at that time, somebody was with me, and you never really want somebody to see you going through that because it's so painful that they end up freaking out too. I mean, it's terrible. You don't want people to see it. They don't want to see it. Nobody likes to see that. Somebody writhing in pain like they're dying. Whoops. And that was the only thing that stopped me from taking a rubber hammer and smashing myself in the face with it. The only thing that saves me is a screaming hot shower. I will stand in the hot shower with the hot water blasting me square in the head, right in the hot spot, and stand there till I run out of hot water. That's about the only thing I can do to deal with the pain. It doesn't take the pain away. It just takes enough of the edge off that I don't go insane. I really like to get one of those endless hot water tanks, but it turns out you gotta have 220, and I do not have 220 here in my house. But what else? Yeah, I'm gonna do a little video about it, hashtag it. This video won't be for everybody, of course, but I do know there's a lot of people out there dealing with this, and it's terrible, and I can't imagine some people do not ever get a break. I can't imagine that. I can't, my fucking brain cannot comprehend dealing with this nonstop. I know they're gonna go away eventually. I've got a month and a half maybe to go, and they'll start tapering off. They'll get like milder and milder. I'll go through absolute hell until then, and they'll get worse and worse and worse. The support groups, they're a good resource. Cluster busters and cluster heads, and sometimes they say taking magic mushrooms helps. I don't know where the hell to get magic mushrooms. I think I would try it. I'll try anything, honest to God. I would try anything. I will drink camel piss if it would work. I would guzzle it, so help me God. I will try anything that might help. Magic mushrooms. What's the other thing? Pure oxygen. So, I don't know if they're taking welders' oxygen. I've yet to try this, and you need a mask and a respirator and a valve. I can't just suck it right out of the fucking oxyacetylene kit at work, you know what I mean? I think it's probably the oxygen people are using for emphysema, and that's supposed to help. But you have to run it so high that a bottle will only last you like one attack. So these people got 75 bottles, you know. I've never tried. I'm not even gonna. I just ride it out. I ride it out and try not to go insane. I know a lot of people do deal with it. And some of the symptoms or the pain's exactly the same. It doesn't vary. It doesn't go side to side. It's always in the same spot. It's very clockworky. You'll start getting them around the same time of day or night. Often in your sleep, a lot of people will get these things while they're sleeping and wake up with an excruciating headache. And that happens to me all the time. Maybe an hour into a sleep, you just wake up with an unbelievably bad headache. What are some of the other signs? I do know for me, alcohol is a huge trigger. When I'm having these headaches, I cannot even so much as take one sip of alcohol, or I will be totally fucked. I will be face down in pain within an hour or less. Another thing about these, they come on fast. you've got about 5 to 10 minutes from the time you start feeling it coming until it hits you full on. My problem is they never go away completely. My head is always hurting. I'm at like a 3 out of 10 right now on a pain level scale. But after been going through hell and being in 8, 9, 10 level pain for hours on end, I can deal with 3. I can deal with 3 and 4 and still make a video. I really got to do something with this wood pile. I need a lumber rack or something. Plus my basement flooded today and all my wood's getting wet. Son of a bitch. I got to work on the outside drainage. I'm not good at any of that. But, yep, gonna maybe hashtag this and hopefully, possibly reach out to other people that have it. Not that my viewership of 6 people is gonna get all that much attention, but just a glimpse into some bullshit. Yeah, my pain, the pain is always the exact same in the exact same spot, the exact same type of pain. It doesn't ever move. It's never different. And probably approaching 30 years now that I think about it. Maybe a bit longer. I remember getting them even as a kid. If I would get woken up abruptly at a certain point in my sleep, maybe just before I hit deep sleep or REM stage, or maybe if I'm in REM stage, if I get woken up, it's just a sure headache. The suicide headache, the worst pain known to medical science. Yay. Fortunately, I almost never get them at work until recently. My last batch I have been getting them at work, but I'm at work so much, it's inevitable. I never used to be at work, 120 hours a week. Now that I am, it was just a matter of time before I was starting to get them at work. I have got to do something with all that wood. It's aggravating. I need some tables. I need a cabinet saw. This rigid saw is really disappointing. It's stalled out. It was the top of the line Home Depot rigid table saw. It was the best one they carry at the store. And it was stalling out during my cuts, which I thought was pretty shitty. I want to get a big cabinet saw too. There's no table space on that to cut big pieces. I like cutting big shit, plywood wise, not boards, but it's hard to deal with sheet goods on that little ass table saw, and it's weak as hell anyway. Table saws scare me. I really don't even like using it. So I picked up something else here. I'm gonna do a whole unboxing video here shortly with that. If you want to check it out, should be cool. Kind of, that will maybe appeal to everybody, unlike these stupid headaches. I can't imagine. People out there get these nonstop, relentlessly. They get them nonstop. I don't know how they do it. And like I was saying, they drop like flies. They off themselves left and right. And I'm like, yeah, I understand. And everybody in the support group understands, finally pain-free. Everybody always says, you're finally free. Because I get them in my sleep. I don't sleep much to begin with, but then I don't sleep at all for the longest time, because every time I go to sleep, I'll wake up with a fucking headache. And then all of a sudden it'll hit me because I didn't sleep for a week or 2. I'll be like super tired and trying to sleep every chance I get. You could forget having a social life. It's impossible. Oh yeah. What else? I don't know. I could go on and on about it. It's a bitch. It's a bitch. It sucks. I've tried everything. I'm not gonna put up some pictures of when I was all big and buff. It wasn't that long ago either. Maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I was a fucking tank. All I did was work out all the time. Like, all the time. All day and night at work. All day and night at home. Watched everything I ate. Didn't party. Didn't smoke. Didn't drink. Still got them. Still got them constantly. You know, I always speculated there's something in my lifestyle, something in my diet, something with my sleep patterns. I've always had night shift. I've always been on nights, but it didn't matter. If I was on days, I was getting them when I was a kid when I didn't even have a job. I was getting them as a teenager when I was only working a few hours a week. So, I don't know. Very happy I found the support group. It's not like it's helpful, but it is. You do get a lot of good info. It's helpful in a different way. Like, there's nothing that's going to stop these goddamn things. Doctors know so little about them. Doctors know nothing about these things, and that's a big part of the problem. This young shit at the ER 10 years ago, and I should look and see if I could find out who he was and what he knows. I didn't have the presence of mind to A, get his name, B, find out what he knows about these things. Whoopsie, I bet that sounded delightful. So I don't know. There's no answers, and that's another reason why people off themselves left and right, and that they got such bad PTSD. You start to look like you had a stroke. It'll be so bad that the side of my face that's in pain will start to sag and droop. And the minute I show up to the ER and say I have a headache and they see my face fucking drooping, I never usually have to wait. They immediately think I'm having an aneurysm or a stroke. And they could take one look at me. They take one look at me and they're like out there with the wheelchair. As soon as I fucking give them my name and tell them what's happening, there ain't no waiting. They think I'm having a stroke and shit. Brain bleed, aneurysm. And then, you know, they'll send me for CAT scans and all that shit. They find nothing. I hate that. I wanted answers, you know. Then they think you're there for the pain pills. They think you're there to get drugs. I'm like, no, I don't want any pain pills. I want some answers. And that's a bitch, you know. There's nothing that they give you at the hospital that helps them. And every time I've taken some pain medicine, it made it worse. So I don't even want to try it. I don't know. I don't know if it's the environment. I used to speculate all kinds of shit that there's so much toxic waste around here that not only is the cancer rate sky high, the highest in the nation, so is all these other crazy medical issues. They've been burying toxic waste, nuclear waste, chemical waste in this area forever. Forever. Since the beginning of electricity, when Niagara Falls was booming, every disgusting chemical company tannery. Tanneries use some of the worst chemicals in the world, and tons of them. And they were pumping that shit into the ground, into the water, freely flowing it right into the rivers for so long. And then during the war, we had Bell Aerospace, Hooker Chemical, Occidental Chemical, all working on this crazy shit. Testing it, burying it, and putting playgrounds. Their favorite thing to do is bury the shit and put up a playground. I don't know why the fuck they do that. It's like they always do that. Put up a park. To bury a bunch of toxic waste and put a park there. And some of my friends right growing up, we used to all hang out at a park. And the whole area was toxic waste. The whole goddamn area. There were tar pits of bubbling waste that we would play in as kids, swimming in the shit. And 15, 20 years later, they fenced it off and they're in hazmat suits cleaning it up. Like, no wonder we're all sick. But I don't know if that's where I get my headaches. So, a lot of people in the support group are from Britain. A lot of people in Britain get them, which is interesting. And I want to kind of, they do a lot of things with mapping, and I want to do a study. I want to get the information off the map and see the correlation of where the high numbers of cluster headache people are and areas where they find waste, known dump sites, burial sites for not just nuclear waste, but toxic chemicals and, you know what I mean? All the stuff that everybody from this area knows exactly what I'm talking about. I got such a mess on my hands and I'm a zombie and nothing's going right and I'm just exhausted. And I have no break in my schedule. My work, there's just no break. I don't have a day off this week. I've got day shifts and night shifts back to back. So I'm working, all night, then all day, then back again at 7 o'clock at night with like 3-4 hours in between. And I was like, well, no wonder you're getting headaches. Well, no, because I was getting these long before my shitty schedule. Long before I was even really working. And they haven't changed over the years. If anything, I could say they've gotten milder as I've gotten older. But yeah, they don't really change. Yeah, my face will start drooping. My eye, one eye and one nostril will start running. Every now and then, it'll hurt so bad I'll end up in the ER. I'll try and drive myself in blinding pain. Oh shit. I've been throwing up too. I've been hurting so bad that I've thrown up driving on my way to work. Whoops, which sucks. Busiest throughway in the whole city, and I'm pulling over throwing up on the side of the road in blinding pain. Oh, it's the worst. The whole thing sucks. Google it. Cluster heads. Anyway, I'm gonna build myself a gallows and jump off it. Thanks for watching. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna do an unboxing video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.